Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that how China's satellite megaprojects are challenging Elon Musk's Starlink. In early December, China launched its third batch of low Earth orbit, or LEO, internet satellites for a constellation called Qianfan, or Thousand Sails as it's also known. The project aims to rival SpaceX's Starlink and will be made up of 15,000 satellites. China is actively developing its own satellite constellation, called Qianfan or Thousand Sails, aiming to directly compete with SpaceX's Starlink. Although currently Starlink holds a significant lead in terms of operational satellites and market penetration, China's rapid investment and technological advancements could potentially allow them to become a serious competitor in the future. But, before we get into all of that, I would like to thank everyone who views my videos. If you would like to support the channel, please see the link to buy me a coffee in the video description below. And, please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. China faces a tall order in its efforts to catch up to Elon Musk's SpaceX satellite service. SpaceX's Starlink already has nearly 7,000 operational satellites in orbit and serves around 5 million customers in more than 100 countries, according to SpaceX. The service is meant to offer high-speed internet to customers in remote and underserved areas. SpaceX hopes to expand its mega constellation to as many as 42,000 satellites. China is aiming for a similar scale and hopes to have around 38,000 satellites across three of its low Earth orbit internet projects, known as Qianfan, Guowang and Honghu 3. Aside from Starlink, European-based Eutelsat OneWeb has also launched more than 630 low Earth orbit, or LEO, internet satellites. Amazon also has plans for a large LEO constellation, currently called Project Kuiper, made up of more than 3,000 satellites, though the company has launched only 2 prototype satellites so far. With so much competition, why would China even bother pouring money and effort into such mega constellations? Starlink has really shown that it is able to bring internet access to individuals and citizens in remote corners and provide an ability for citizens to access the internet and whatever websites, whatever apps they would like, said Steve Feldstein, a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. For China, a big push has been to censor what citizens can access, Feldstein said. And so for them, they say, well, this presents a real threat. If Starlink can provide uncensored content either to our citizens or to individuals of countries that are allied with us, that is something that could really pierce through our censorship regime. And so we need to come up with an alternative. Blaine Curcio, founder of Orbital Gateway Consulting, agrees. In certain countries, China could see this as almost like a differentiator. It's like, well, maybe we're not as quick to market, but hey, we will censor the heck out of your internet if you'd like us to, and we'll do it with a smile on our faces. Experts say that while Chinese constellations won't be the choice internet provider for places such as the US, Western Europe, Canada and other US allies, plenty of other regions could be open to a Chinese service. There's a couple of geographic areas in particular that might be attractive for a Starlink-like competitor, specifically one made by China, including China itself, said Juliana Swiss, an associate at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Russia, for example, but also Afghanistan and Syria are not yet covered by Starlink. And there's also large parts of Africa that aren't yet covered. We've seen that 70% of 4G infrastructures in the continent of Africa are already built by Huawei, Swiss added. And so having a space-based perspective to that might sort of further build inroads there. Aside from being a tool for geopolitical influence, having a proprietary satellite internet constellation is increasingly becoming a national security necessity, especially when ground internet infrastructure is crippled during war. When it comes to the difference that Starlink technology has played in the Ukraine battlefield, one of the big leaps we've seen has been the emergence of drone warfare and the connected battlefield, Feldstein said. Having satellite-based weaponry is something that's viewed as a crucial military advantage. And so I think China sees all that and says investing in this is absolutely critical for our national security goals. The competition between China and Starlink is heating up as both entities aim to dominate the low Earth orbit, LEO, internet market. Here are some key points. 1. Scale and ambition. Starlink, operated by SpaceX, already has nearly 7,000 operational satellites and serves around 5 million customers in over 100 countries. It plans to expand its constellation to as many as 42,000 satellites. China is not far behind, aiming for around 38,000 satellites across 3 of its LEO internet projects, Qianfan, Guowang, and Honghu 3. 2. Geopolitical influence. Starlink's ability to provide uncensored internet access poses a challenge to China's censorship policies. China sees this as a threat and is developing its own satellite internet services to maintain control over internet access. 3. Strategic partnerships. China's satellite projects are not just about internet connectivity, they also serve geopolitical and national security interests. For instance, regions like Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, and parts of Africa, where Starlink is not yet available, could be potential markets for Chinese satellite services. 4. Technological and financial challenges. Scaling to compete with established players like Starlink involves significant technological and financial investments. Despite these challenges, China is determined to close the gap and assert its influence in the global internet market. 5. National security. Satellite constellations hold national security value, especially in scenarios where ground-based infrastructure is disrupted. Starlink's role in providing connectivity during the Ukraine conflict highlighted the military advantages of satellite technology. The competition between China and Starlink is not just about providing internet access but also about geopolitical influence, national security, and technological dominance. But, what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. And, before we end, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions, doctors, including any type of specialty nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses. Lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus. Teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school. As well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So, be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. Thank you for watching.